Please, we'd like to invite those who are outside to please come inside as we're about to start. Sorry for taking a little of your time. We're meant to have started by 10 on the dot. So please, the ushers, make sure everybody's comfortable, and then we are duly seated. I also want to appeal to one or two of the ushers to please go outside and invite those outside to please come inside so that we can start. We are here for this 10th Regional Summit of Food Science and Technology experts of the Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Tech, the Western chapter, here to work on the theme, innovations in food technology. I tell you, this theme is very apt at this time because there's this popular saying that says that necessity is the mother of invention. And with the current economic situation in Nigeria and globally, it's making us even think out of the box to coming up with so many cooking formulas now, even in the home by our mothers, where you can now cook with minimal rodo and dogmacy the other one in order for the stew to be enough for the 3 days that you have planned. You all know this formula. And the students also have this formula where you have bread, no stew, no sardine, no butter. You buy granuts and do bread and granuts and drink water. That's innovation. I was looking at the back page of this program and I saw Danjuma Bakery and Sports listing the products they have. Is any representative of Danjuma Foods here? Me, I have 2 innovations I'll give to you, but I will sell the idea to you. We'll talk about that later. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have in our midst today some dignitaries who have come from far and wide to be part of this regional conference. I would like to invite the chief hosts, Professor Razak Olatunde Kalilu, Acting Vice Chancellor, Lautech Ogbomosho, Acting Vice Chancellor. He just corrected us some few minutes back that his vice chancellorship will start on the 12th. That is still in acting capacity. So I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but we all know that is the substantive vice chancellor who is ably represented to please come to the high table. Please a round of applause for him. I will equally want to invite the national president of the Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Tech, Professor Joseph Abu, or his representative to please join us on the high table. The representative of the national president to please join us on the high table. Also to join us on the high table is the chairperson, NIFST Western Chapter, the person of Professor Bolanle Akinwande, a fellow of the Institute, to please join us on the high table. At this point, I would also like to invite to the high table the conference chairman, in the person of Professor Latif Oladimeji Sani, a past president of the institute, now the executive director, Nigerian Stock Products Research Institute, INSPRI, Ilorin, as the chairman of this conference, to please take his seat on the high table. Please, a round of applause for Professor Sani. Also, I'd like to invite to the high table the keynote speaker, Dr. Tinola Akinubi, Deputy Director and Head, NAFDAC Food Regulation, Food Registration and Regulations Affairs, NAFDAC. So please join us on the high table. I think she's still on her way because I've not seen her. Also to join us on the high table is no other person than our Baba in the Institute. I call him the professor. In fact, he's now being elevated by one step, a professor of professor of professors, because if you have a professor and your professor has started producing professors, then you are no more professor. So it's now professor of professors, no other person than Professor Charles Awo to please join us on the high table. Currently the president of IUFROS, and this is one great mentor of the Institute. When you read his profile, I know you'll be challenged. So I encourage all the students here to try and get the profile of Professor Awo and try to meet up, not beat it, meet up with it. Because as you see him, he's not tired. He's still breaking new ground. So please, a round of applause for Professor Awo. You're welcome, sir. Also to join us on the high table is Professor M.O. Ologunde to please join us on the high table. We want to invite to the high table Mr. S.O. Oyetola, the representative of the Liberian, to please join us on the high table. Mr. S.O. Oyetola to please join us on the high table. I have the pleasure of inviting to the high table the Executive Director of NIHOT, Dr. Mohammed Lawal Atonda, to please join us on the high table. We now have in our midst the keynote speaker, Dr. Tinola Akinubi, Deputy Director and Head, NAFDAC Food Regulation, Registration and Regulation Affairs. So please join us on the high table. Please a round of applause for her. Doc, you're welcome. At this point, I want to recognize Professor Taufik Shitu from FUNAB. Please stand up for recognition, sir. We also have Professor, just a minute. I know the name. If I'm not careful, I'll be in trouble. That's why I want to be sure and extra sure of this name. Professor Makuyomi Oluwamukomi, a past chairman. I told you I was going to get into trouble if I don't check the name properly. Please, a round of applause for him, a past Western chairman. At this point, Professor Akonde, Dean of Food Consumer, please join us on the high table. Looking at LAUTECH, if we remove the faculty of food, well, I go do. Do you agree? Do you agree? Please, let's put a round of applause for ourselves. I'll be failing in my duties if I don't recognize the wonderful students of food science and tech from the various institutions under the Western chapter. So please, will the multitude of us becoming members in future, can you please put a round of applause for yourself? I want to crave the indulgence of members of the high table to please recognize all the professors, all the doctors, all the professional members, all the fellows present, because if I'm to do the protocol, ideally, we'll be spending a lot of time. So please join me in welcoming all the fellows and members of the Institute here present. Please, a round of applause for all of them while seated there. At this point, we would like to invite all of us to rise. We'll take the national anthem. Immediately after the national anthem. Now, don't ask me whether old or new. I've only just said national anthem. And I know anyone they queue will all comply. Because as it is right now, I know members of the high table know the old one even before now. So it's not new to us. It's only the new school that will have problem with it. Because I know that back then, even the keynote speaker was singing the old one that you're calling new now at a primary school those days. So please, can we all be upstanding? Together. In brotherhood we stand. Thy kingdom's all and proud to serve our sovereign fatherland. Our land shall be a city of truth and justice reign. For battle, we speak of as dead. About oh God,
and things are wondering and was moving on vacation when old man is so sad. And the soul feels so bad. Nigerian
May Nigeria be truly blessed. Now we take the Oyo State anthem. What in Bihar? We are in Oyo State. NIFST. We now take the NIFST anthem.
Nigerian Institute of Science and Technology is we all the first on the day. Industries, government policy and research. We have reached affordable and security for Nigerians. Nigerian Institute of Science and Technology is NIFST. Nigerian Institute of Science and Technology is NIFST. We have lots of time. And skills of food experts to preservation and salvation for masses. Nigerian Institute of Science and Technology is NIFST. Nigerian Institute of Science and Technology is NIFST. We want security, food safety, and sustainability. And it has something for the day and every food. Nigerian Institute of Science and Technology is NIFST. Nigerian Institute of Science and Technology.
Lautech anthem. Know how
Lautech anthem.
Please, a round of applause while we take our seats. Thank you very much. At this point, we would like to take welcome address by the chairperson of the Western chapter of the Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Tech. This is no other person than Professor Bolanle Akinwande. So please come to the podium and take a welcome address. Please round of applause for our Western chapter chairperson. If I was the chairperson and you clap like that, I'll just sit down. You don't know what it is. To take care of a home is a lot of wahala. To not take care of several homes, both with professional, fellow, and students. Wahala deal. As far as we are concerned, she is the VC of the Western chapter. Happy not be so. Please, a round of applause for Professor Akinwande.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shiwoku. The acting Vice Chancellor, ably represented by the Chairman of Committee of Provost and Deans, in person of Professor A.T.J. Ogunkule. The Chairman of this summit, our own Professor Lateef Oladimeji Sonny. Our emeritus, raised to power, whatever anybody can imagine. Infinity. Our father, Professor Ogugoa Charles Awo. Professor Ologunde, our own father in our own domain again. Professor Michael Olufisayo Ologunde. I'm sorry I didn't forget you. The representative of the registrar, Mr. Oyetola, the dean of our great faculty, Faculty of Food and Consumer Sciences, our keynote speaker, she stepped out, Dr. I'm trying to remember the first name. Dr. Tinola Akinobi. Esteemed guests, distinguished colleagues, members of the Nigerian Association of Food Science and Technology students, all food science enthusiasts, and members of the Fourth Estate of the Realm. Good morning, and I welcome you all to our annual summit that is holding today in Ogbomoso. By way of brief history, Ogbomoso was founded around 1650, mid-17th century, by a hunter named Seun Ogunlola, a Yoruba descent. He settled in the area due to its strategic location and abundance of game. The settlement gradually, over time, attracted other people, which led to the establishment of a larger community. From its early days as a hunter settlement to its current status as a vibrant city, Ogbomoso has played a significant role in the cultural and economic landscape of southwestern Nigeria. The chapter symposium and annual general meeting held in this great university in the year 2008, also in the same year, the university hosted the 32nd conference and annual general meeting of our national body, Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Technology. It is an immense honor and privilege to stand before you today as the chairperson of the Western chapter of NIFST and as the host of the 10th Regional Food Science and Technology Summit, RIFOST, which we have tagged Ajilete 2024. This year's theme, Innovations in Food Technology, Enhancing Safety, Nutrition, and Economic Opportunities, resonates deeply with the core mission of our institute and the collective aspirations of our community. Today, there is a revolution in the food industry, a revolution that is driven by innovation, a revolution that holds the power to transform the way we feed ourselves and our nation. For decades, NIFST has been at the forefront of this movement, championing advancements in food science and technology. In spite of all our previous efforts till date, there are challenges. Food safety is paramount, and ensuring access to safe food, nutritious food for all Nigerians, is a continuous endeavor. We also need to continuously unlock the economic potentials of our food sector by empowering farmers, processors, and entrepreneurs. This summit is a testament to our collective commitment to addressing these challenges. As we gather here today until tomorrow, we intend to explore cutting-edge advancements that are shaping the future of food, ensuring it is safer, more nutritious, and more accessible to all. Our discussions and presentations will cover a broad spectrum of topics, from groundbreaking research in food safety protocols to novel nutritional solutions and sustainable economic practices that can transform our food systems. These will be done through 3 channels as indicated in our theme as follows. The first is by enhancing food safety. At this summit, we will discuss new technologies and methodologies that promise to ensure the high standards of food safety. I'm confident that the insights that will be shared by esteemed speakers will pave the way for safer food practices. Secondly, by improving nutrition security. Nutrition is at the heart of public health, and our responsibility as food professionals is to ensure that the food we produce meets the highest nutritional standards. We will explore how new innovations can address malnutrition and ultimately contribute to healthier populations. Thirdly, by boosting economic opportunities, we will examine how food technology can empower farmers, processors, and entrepreneurs to create new opportunities, increase efficiency, and boost the Nigerian economy. I would like to extend my greatest and deepest gratitude to our keynote speaker, Dr. Tinuola Akinubi, the Deputy Director at NAFDAC, who will set the pace with presentation on the role of law enforcement on food safety, nutrition, and economic development. I also appreciate Dr. Mohammed Atonda, the Executive Director of National Horticultural Research Institute, who will lead the plenary sessions with presentation on leveraging technology to minimize food loss and waste. I'm so thankful to other speakers of the remaining plenary sessions for your diverse support and sacrifices in spite of our financial limitations. We do not take all this for granted and pray that God Almighty will meet you all at all points of your dire needs. I equally appreciate all technical paper presenters, sponsors, donors, and organizers who have worked tirelessly and with lots of sacrifices to make this summit a reality. Your contributions are invaluable. Your dedications to advancing the field of food science and technology is truly inspiring. Tomorrow, 6th of June, is our NIFST Founders Day, which is a designated day to celebrate the founding fathers of the Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Technology. This event, this time, will be marked with cutting of cake and with presentation of awards to individuals that have made remarkable contributions to our field. In a very special way, I welcome members of NIFST, the future drivers of our professional body. I'm very convinced that you will be greatly motivated at this summit. To all participants, I encourage you to engage actively in all sessions, network with colleagues, and share your knowledge and experiences. This summit is not just about acquiring knowledge. It is about sparking actions. It is about fostering collaborations between researchers, industry leaders, policymakers, and everyday citizens. Together, we can harness the power of innovation to build a safer, more nutritious, and more prosperous food system for Nigeria. In addition to listening and contributing to the collective wisdom that will drive our nation forward, in the spirit of unwinding, your presence at the cocktail this evening will be appreciated. I thank the Faculty of Food and Consumer Sciences for the sponsorship. Once again, I welcome you all to this summit. Let us make the most of this opportunity to learn, share, and collaborate. Together, we can propel our nation towards a brighter food future. I thank you all.
I believe we can do better in appreciating our chairperson for that wonderful welcome address. She has equally invited us to cocktail. And I keep wondering why they call that thing cocktail. Who wants to eat cocktail? Cock and a tail. Give me the cock, leave the tail. I don't want the tail. Please, we need to do something as food professionals. Help them redefine what that thing should be, not cocktail. So if you come to my house and I give you cocktail of cock, you go chop them. My chairperson, you know, talk again. When people have a way of doing us like this, they give one name. If it's our own, they'll say, no, it doesn't fall in place. We'll have to also change it. Thank God with my Oga, they've not been able to change Gary. They have tried severally, but even in all the publication, it's still Gary. A busy what? They try calling it cassava granules, cassava this, cassava na lie, na Gary, because there's a process called garification. I be not be so. We still sabi book for Africa. Please let's give ourselves a round of applause. Now I have the singular honor of inviting the conference chairman, Professor Lateef Oladimeji-Sani, to give his address. Please a round of applause for this erudite scholar, a professor of professors too. Hopefully by God's grace, he also become a professor of professors, because his own offspring too are growing. So please, let's welcome him to the podium.
Greatest Nigerian students, fabulous Nigerian students, greatest. I want to start from greeting the students who are our future champions for partnership, collaboration, synergy in advancing the cause of food science and technology, just like the chairman of LOC Ford. And that's why I'm starting from them. The teacher of teachers, the professor seated, our pa, Professor Awo, has done his best. The one-time acting vice chancellor, Professor Logunde, he has done his best. Dr. Professor Oluwamukome has done his best. When I saw him this morning, I said, Oluwamukome and he said, Onayemi, 1987. He said, I'm correct. That was his first publication on suction isotope, 1987. Can you people cite any one of us? Do you know any authors? You don't. You better go and cram and begin to know now if you want to get to this level. I can mention the names and names of authors and their papers and the year of publications. That was part of the training. And I think we will get back to it. The representative of the Vice Chancellor-elect seated and all other colleagues. I want to congratulate Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Tech with our annual remark of our Founders Day. It is a very good opportunity for us to get ready for the annual conference that is coming up in October in Kano, by God's grace. Coming together, sharing ideas of some of our research outputs, and also going home with some new thinking will be better for every one of us. This year, we are talking of how do we sustain the development looking into food and nutrition security. And it's become a very critical issue. In Nigeria as a nation, we've been trying to push the issue of food and nutrition security. The maximum we have done at governmental level is some of these vitamin A fortification that we have with some industries that are having downstream products. I can tell you that minus dairy, we have some of these approved mandatory fortification process. The second one that I can tell you is some advancement on the issue of biofortified products. The use in terms of having beta carotene for maize, for cassava, and iron in cowpea is also a very great result from 1CG centers that are popularizing some of these biofortified products. And that's why you have AFES Plus. The third one of some advancement in the issue of food and nutrition security is some of the issue of elemental fortification process. And this is an area where I know that as a nation, we have not been consistent enough to target with our traditional products. If you recall during COVID-19, so many of us went back to the use of turmeric. We started using garlic and so many ginger, so many functional foods. And these are the area that we need to do more. The last point is the regulatory aspect, which we have the keynote speaker. And I thank God that we are having a keynote speaker for NAFDAC. Our regulators have quite a lot of work to do. If you talk of mixers or homogenizers for the fortification process, what are they made of? Are they of stainless steel or non-food grade materials? And these are some of the problems we're having with our food safety and everything. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say that we have a good opportunity to listen today. and learn, and begin to think of what will be your own contribution in sustaining enduring food and nutrition security. The mandate, the goal of Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Tech is to promote wholesome and safe food. It's a major broad goal of our institute. And this can accommodate every one of us, be it nanotechnology, be it biotechnology, and be it genetic improvement, and whatever food-to-food complementary foods that you want to bring out. I do not want to be the keynote speaker. I just want to welcome you. Thank you very much.
Hey, I am one of those who will never want Professor Sonny to be my external examiner for my PhD. I'm in trouble because he will take me here, take me there, take me here, up and down. But it is good. It's good to be. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I'm so happy being a NIFST. You see a lot of erudite scholars, holistic, not just stereotyped into one box. And so please, I want us to appreciate Professor Sani once again. Thank you very much, sir, for that welcome address. We have a slight modification that will come. But before then, we'll take the opening speech by the acting Vice Chancellor, the Vice Chancellor-elect, represented here today by Professor ATJ Ogunkunle. Please, a round of applause for the Vice Chancellor as he makes his speech.
The Registrar of the University, the Bossa, librarian here represented, the chairman of the conference, fathers of the Nigerian Institute of Science, Food Science and Technology, other erudite professors and other members of academia. I want to specially recognize my Oga, Professor Michael Ologunde. You're welcome, sir. Fellows of the Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Technology, respected members of Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Technology, other guests here present, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. As you are quite aware, I'm here to represent the acting Vice Chancellor of this great university, Professor Rom Kalilu, who is outside the university for other equally important engagements. But I must mention that I'm here wearing two caps today. I've also been invited as the chairman of provosts and deans of the university. So as you are seeing me wearing one cap, actually I'm wearing two. Before I read my Oga speech, in my capacity as the chairman of the provosts and deans of the best state university in Nigeria, I bring warm greetings from Committee of Provosts and Deans. I also bring a message of congratulations to the Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Technology for this epoch-making event. I must say that I'm happy to be here today because I regard food science or studies of food, if not the best, as one of the best in the world. I have created this impression since I was undergraduate, way back about 3 decades or 3.5 decades ago, when I had to attend a lecture in general studies, and I was told that for most part of our lives, we think about food. So food science is a course or a program that doesn't need further explanation to the local man. No matter what we do, no matter what kind of studies we undertake, bottom line is to make sure that it benefits the man at the grassroots. Even when we are calculating very complex equations in mathematics, I often ask, how can you communicate this to the local man? How can you convince the local man that it will be of benefit to them? So, food science is a course that does not need any explanation to the local man because everybody needs food. When we think about training our children, we are thinking about food when we are no longer strong. When we are thinking about getting to high position, we are thinking about empowering ourselves to be able to feed well, and so on and so forth. So on this note, I want to congratulate students of food science here present today that you are on the right path. I thought you would clap for yourselves. Now I go to read my master's address. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the 10th Regional Food Science and Technology Summit tagged Ajilete 2024, organized by the professional body of Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Technology. The summit is an event that brings together food scientists, technologists, industry leaders, and stakeholders across Southwest Nigeria for deliberations on food processing, safety, post-harvest, and new innovations. I welcome all the eminent speakers, participants, and guests all across the globe to this great summit. I welcome you all to Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, Ogbomoso, a prominent university within the peaceful and serene land of the Valiants. Ladoke Akintola is a university with the mission to provide suitable conditions for advancing knowledge through research and learning, produce self-reliant graduates, apply technology-driven knowledge to creativity, and positively impact the global environment, and to be the epitome of integrity and service. We have a conducive learning environment for both the students and the staff. LAUTECH has become one of the highest ranking universities in Nigeria with significant global influence. The theme for the summit is innovations in food technology, enhancing safety, nutrition, and economic opportunities. It is timely and crucial to our dear country because recently the federal government declared a state of emergency regarding food security in Nigeria. I put it to you as members of professional bodies that cut across the agricultural processing, research institutes, academia, and students that this summit is an opportunity to fortify the existing synergies and initiate the pathways to achieve food safety in Nigeria. I would like to congratulate Professor B.A. Akinwande, who is the chairperson of the Western Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Technology, who incidentally is our own director of academic planning of this great university. As we continue the conference, I wish all participants fruitful sessions and journey mercies to our respective destinations after the conference. I wish the Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Technology greater heights and much more achievements. On this note, on behalf of the acting Vice Chancellor, I hereby declare this important summit open. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of this great citadel of knowledge, ably represented by Professor A.T.J. Ogunkunle. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we'd like to make a slight alteration to the program. We'll take a presentation now titled Building Economically Sustainable Seed Systems. Achievements to date. This is from the IITA Basic 2 project, and this will be taken now. Then after that, we'll take the keynote address, and then we will round up the formal opening ceremony. So please, I have the pleasure of inviting Dr. Mercy Debiru Ojo, the lead from the project. You can come to the podium so that you can make it from here. Please, a round of applause, encourage her. Let's be gender extra sensitive.
Good morning, everyone. I'm not a food scientist, but I am one by association. My name is Mercy Debirojo, and I work as a seed system specialist / breeder at the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, Ibadan. I want to first explain why we're here today. As a breeder, we have always done things, separated from the food science, but everything we have been doing, the crops we have been developing, newer varieties, they have never gotten to the hands of the intending users, basically the farmers and other consumers. And one reason is because they have neglected every other aspect of, the value chain. So we have to look deeply and critically at what is happening, and hence we had to integrate some other field. And a very critical aspect that was integrated was the food science and technology aspect. And we integrated it into some of our projects. But when integrated it, over time, we found out that this is not a field that should just be by the side in one of those projects. Hence, there was another project that was developed called the RTB Food, which is just basically for food science and technology. Show the importance of this field in whatever we are doing as breeders. But today I'm going to be talking about seed system, because after the breeders develop their crop, they need a channel to go to get to the farmers, right? And farmers also will always send feedback that say, oh, we don't want this, we want this one, we don't want this. But the farmer is also dependent on the consumers, and on the consumer, by extension, the food scientists and technology. My presentation today is going to be channeled to the Basics project, which is a seed system project around cassava. So I am limited to cassava in this project, and I will also highlight how important this field is to what we are doing. So basically, it's around seed system, like I talked about. In the 2020s, before now, we have a very most of the seed system has majorly be an informal system. As we can see in this diagram, is just about 10% of the seed system. And I can tell you that that 10% is even for the grain series and other legume crop, not even for the vegetatively propagated crops like cassava, where they were not even existent at that time. And the cycle for the informal system, which is about 90% of the whole system, is just farmers replanting their seeds. They don't sell the seed. They go, and what this has done, we have in it planting, cultivation, harvest, and all that. But what this did over the years was that it wasn't bringing out the potentials of those varieties. The productivities of farmer kept going down. But when we came up with the seed system, we had to change the narrative and trajectory of what was happening at that time, and we had to focus on the consumption, the seed production, and very importantly, the seed quality control. Just as we have quality control for the food, we also have quality control for seed. Hence, we are moving in that direction. So we have this project called the Basics Project. So the Basics Project has been on for about 10 years, and it's been a very successful one because we have been seeing the impact in the lives of farmers. Cassava as a crop, we know that people will always say, why do I have to buy cassava stems? So we have changed that narrative. There are several reasons why you should invest in clean planting materials. And the clean planting materials is not you just investing in it, you have to see the value proposition. And one of the major value proposition is the type of variety that you are going to be accessing. So you can see that it's a holistic project, ranging from the breeding program to seed companies, early generation seed companies. Then we have another level of seed production of entrepreneurship, which farmers can come and make business from seed production. Then we have the processors, and that is the link of this project with the food science. Because for cassava now, we have diverse use of the crop, from industrial to lots of food production. We all know about the Russian and Ukraine war, what it did to wheat. And, you know, there was serious reduction in importation of wheat because it was nowhere. So some people started, you know, diversifying to cassava flour. And that is where we need, you don't just want to diversify to cassava flour, but you need something that will be very close to the wheat flour. So you need the right variety. At the same time, you need researches from the technology, the food science technology, to also recommend, to say, this is the recommendation, this is how we want the flour to be and all that. So that is the link of the food science with the project. Then of course we have other farmers. Then another important aspect of this project is the scaling. Even though the project was for Nigeria and Tanzania, we want to push the model to other African countries. And I'm glad to tell you that the project manager for this project is our able Professor Sonny. He has done very well, and I said that the donors are exceptionally very happy and impressive with the outcome of this project. Next slide. So these are some of the issues that the project is addressing as well. We want to look at the role of the seed sector in facilitating national agricultural transformation. So it's very holistic. So definitely the food science has a place in this. Then we're looking at the current status in the seed regulatory system. We have to profile the actors who will be doing that, and as well as the indicators. Then we look around the issues and the challenges. What is causing the gap in demand and supply of quality planting materials to meet the farmers' needs? Then strategies and action. What are we doing? What do we need to do? Because at the end of the day, we need to measure impact. That is the evidence we need to show that these things are working. Then some research questions that were answered also by the project is the accessibility to these varieties we have been talking about. affordability of the planting materials. It doesn't have to only be access, but farmers should be able to afford them. Quality. We keep talking quality, quality. Quality is very key. Market segment, and that is where we come in again. In the breeding program, we have what we call product profile. Before, we have been doing blind breeding, where as breeders, we just say we breed this variety, oh, it's resistant to this disease, is this, and that's that, without consulting with the farmers, without consulting with the consumers. But now we have changed the way we are doing our things. Now we are focused on the need, in terms of the food need, in terms of the industrial need. So that's what we call product profile. For cassava now, the varieties that we have developed in the past years, they have very distinct product profile. We have the one for industry, then we have for the fresh food, which includes the gari, fufu, some other confectionaries. Then we have the bio-fortified, that's the vitamin A, cassava and all that. And in some other countries, they have different product profile. So in this field, that's where we really need the food science, because we need this information to take back to the breeders to say, when you are breeding, please put these things at the back of your mind. Then they will know what to focus on when developing that variety. Then, of course, economic viability. Enough of doing things for free. We have to make a model where it can be business oriented so that people will get value from it. So this is just a summary of what the basics project has achieved over the years. We are slated in 2 countries, Nigeria and Tanzania, and we have similar success stories. We have engaged with several with a project called TAT. They are the one responsible for scaling different technologies to other African countries. And I think, Prof, I don't know what has been the, I don't know how food science has been able to tap into the TAT project. Prof. Sonny, so I think you should take that up. We'll be having a meeting soon. So there should be an aspect for food science in the TAT project. Then we have development of 2 EGS enterprise. This is ITA Go Seed and Umudike Seed. It has never happened before. But the essence of this is to ensure sustainable production and commercialization of these varieties. Then we have developed and scaled innovations, several innovations, and such as the SH technology. We see that briefly. Then we have the sustainable integration of seed certification. We are working closely with the National Agricultural Seed Council. So this is like the NAFDAC counterpart for seed production. Just like we have NAFDAC for food and drug, we also have NACS for seed produced in the country. Then we have strengthened their capacity, then as well as conducted several demo trials where over 1,000 farmers has participated, and of course eventually lots of beneficiary farmers have been impacted. We have the stories. This is one of our critical technologies that I'm responsible for. It's called the SAH technology. It's just semi-rapid, it's a rapid multiplication technology for producing cassava planting material, because we are talking about health status of the crop. We are also talking about the quality. So it's a novel technology, but we have it going for about since 2017 now. And we are seeing that we are having more cassava fields that have been produced without diseases. Next slide, please. So this is just a brief of what the SH technology has done in Africa, not only in Nigeria. We have used it to revolutionize the cassava seed system in several countries, more than 10 African countries, and we are still going. They have functional labs, and over 100 persons as of today have been trained on how to carry out this technology. Next slide. So on the EGS, so I'm looking at it component by component. On the EGS aspect, that's the early generation seed production aspect, the companies have produced almost 800 hectares of cassava seed EGS. These are the ones that are under the control of NIFST. They have been properly inspected. These fields have been inspected and have no diseases. They have the right varieties and all that. So this is what we intend for farmers to send down to the farmers, that's the downstream farmers, for them to get, the value of what they are investing in. Because, we always say Nigeria is the highest producer of cassava. Yes, in production, that is the situation. But when it comes to the actual yield, we are still very low. And this is some of the reasons, because we have been using very infected planting materials. So for a variety that is supposed to give you up to 30 tons per hectare, it will be giving you like 5 tons per hectare. So what's the point? So we want to ensure that people are having access to the right planting material. For now, we are just spread across the southwestern part and some aspect of north central Nigeria. This is just the data. Also, another component of the projects where we are working with smaller farmers, and about over 700 of them are also part of the project. Then the processors, like we can see these processors now. This is very important. Sultry, we have Atmanco, Crest Agro, Agbeyewa. These cattle foods, they are all processors producing food products. Cattle is turning cassava to custard. So they need the right variety. We have about 45 cassava that is yellow, it's not white. It has high levels of vitamin A, and that's what they are using. But if this project was not there, if we didn't have the breeding program, they wouldn't have had access to this. And this has really helped their business model. We have Sultry that produces cassava flour. Now she's exporting a cassava flour, even though we don't have enough for the country. And this is because she has met the quality, using the right varieties, and of course working with the food science to get the food grade flour to be exported. We also have Semwa processor. They are processing into starch, cassava starch, and several others. Some is just gari and fufu, well packaged and all that. So these people need information. They need the right information for the right varieties, the clean planting materials, as well as information on the standards of their products. Next slide. Okay, this just shows us a distribution network. All of these are outcome of the project. So before now, it was very hard to track improved varieties, how they have been used in Nigeria and their different classes. So by empowering the NACS, this is an app they have been using to trace, monitor, and track, the varieties that are being used in Nigeria now, and as well as their area, so that we look how they are moving, and it also shows their acceptance by farmers. Yeah, this is also a summary just to show in different classes. Working with us, we need to follow strictly the generation that cassava is supposed to be produced. So we have the breeder seed, we have commercial seed, and the foundation seed. And this clearly shows the trend of their movement from 2016 that we have started. And we learned a lot from this project. And this is just a summary of what we learned. This is not a project that stood on its own to say, I'm a seed system project. The only thing I'm after is just production of stem. It's just production of cassava. But we have collaborated from different other fields, and it has brought out the strength and the success of the project. Then we cross-learn. We learned a lot from all these other fields. Then it's helping us to also catalyze scaling, as other fields are accepting to say, okay, we really need this, and also showing what they can do. And it has been an active role model for the other projects or other fields. And I think, so in summary, I want to say the BASIS project is a champion project, and we found out that together we will always win. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mercy, for that presentation. And thank you for highlighting all the opportunities that are there. There are opportunities for LAUTECH to also have an SAH lab become a STEM entrepreneur. It's an opportunity for even the students to have all the various improved varieties to work with and come up with all the outcomes of which one is better for this area. And this is something we need to critically look into and see the possibility of collaborating with the Basics project. So another round of applause for Basics 2 projects. At this point, I would like to say we are beginning to whet our appetite. I hope you guys are taking notes. Please do. And there's so many things you will still learn in the course of this. We're going quickly to the keynotes address. But I want to quickly introduce to you the keynote speaker, who is a member of the Nigerian Institute of Food Science and other institutes too. She's from my neighborhood those days, back then. Her first degree was in biochemistry from Olabisi Onabanjo University. She got a master's degree in environmental biology, University of Abuja. Also got a PhD in environmental science, University of Abuja. She's currently running another PhD in parasitology at FUNAB. This woman like Boko. I now know why we are from the same neighborhood. She has attended different trainings, both nationally and internationally. She has equally done a training on geographical information system, chemical logistics and distribution at ICIS Singapore, risk assessment and safety, strategic planning and policy. She has presented papers in different conferences and workshops. She has also published widely. One of our interesting papers, which I'll ask for a copy, is the HACCP on production of cassava and the comparative study on local feeds on the growth of African catfish. So let me know what I'm eating. I will talk to you later. And then she has also done comparison in available feeds and isolation of microorganisms from fish and determination of mycotoxins present in fish. Voila. To conclude, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Tinuola Akinubi is a member of the Biochemical Society of Nigeria, Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Tech, African Institute for Policy Studies, and Parasitology and Public Health Society of Nigeria, and a lot more. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Dr. Tinuola Akinubi, the keynote speaker for today, and she will be addressing us on the theme for the conference. And the theme, she will also be looking at the role of law enforcement on food safety, nutrition, and economic development. Please, a round of applause for Dr. Tinu Akinubi while she comes to the stand.
Good morning, all. I'm standing on the existing protocol because if I start calling names, I think I will spend the next 1 hour acknowledging all our wonderful, distinguished guests here. I'd like to talk to you on the 10th Regional Food Science and Technology Summit on the role of law enforcement on food safety, nutrition, and economic development. I'd like to ask you to borrow me your ears and listen attentively. What are the objectives? We're going to talk about what is the role of enforcement on food safety, nutrition and economic development. What is the understanding of this role on food safety? Then, the understanding of this particular role on what? Nutrition. And the understanding of this role on the economic development of Nigeria. Next slide, please. The contents, as you can see, starts with the introduction and not the English language that follows. Next slide, please. On the introduction, it says, what is the role of law enforcement in food safety, nutrition, and economic development? When you ask this question, it looks ambiguous. But by the time you explain it in details, you will get exactly what they are talking about. These responsibilities encompasses various aspects, from enforcing regulations, ensuring compliance, standards to combating fraud, ensuring trade practices, promoting and educating public health. They contribute to creating a healthy, transparent, and thriving food system. Collaboration between law enforcement agencies, governmental bodies, industry stakeholders, and community organizations is essential to effectively address the complex challenges related to food safety, nutrition, and economic development. If you look at the lower part of it, please let the slide move up a little. There are three main types of law enforcement agencies. Sorry, coordinator, can you let them see the three types? You need to lift it up a little. No, not the next slide. On the same slide, there are three main types of law enforcement agencies. We have the local law enforcement agency. That includes the police, your sheriff departments. Then the second one, we have the state law enforcement agency. Then the last one. None is more important than the other. The three are very important. The third one is the federal law enforcement agencies. And for the sake of this presentation, we will be citing NAFDAC as a reference point to explain what a law enforcement agency is about. Next slide, please. So on the first turn, we're going to talk about the role of law enforcement on food safety. Many of us may do without buying clothes for years. Am I correct? You may do without buying shoes for years. For years you may do without buying a furniture in your house. But I'm telling you, after 7 days, if you do not eat food, you will know that there is a difference between police officer and army officer. No matter how much you want to fast, it's even advised when you're on the 3rd day of your dry fast, start taking what? Water. But to stay without food and water for 7 days, I will have to call Patience Jonathan to come and tell you, there is God. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control plays a crucial role in ensuring food safety in Nigeria. NAFDAC is responsible for regulating and controlling the manufacture, the importation, the exportation, advertisement, distribution, sale, and use of food products. This single statement tells you the whole function of what? NAFDAC. What is the purpose? To safeguard the public health. and promote what? Consumer confidence. Praise the Lord. I'm so sorry. We're in another atmosphere. Okay. Before, when you go to a pharmacy and buy a drug, there is this, will it work? Will it not work? Will it work? But now, if you buy a malaria drug, you know you have bought a malaria drug. Before, we have chalk being made in tablet form, and they sell it to us as paracetamol. No wonder it doesn't work. We are going to China, telling them to produce specification that we want, not the specification that will heal the ailments. And what do we have? Fake drugs everywhere. So this is how the overview is all about. Number one, enforcing standard and regulation. How do we enforce standard and regulation? Regulatory enforcement. We enforce food safety regulation set by governmental bodies to ensure that food products, they meet what? Specified standard for quality, hygiene, and of safety. Inspection and monitoring. They conduct inspection on food production facility. That is what we call good manufacturing practice. They conduct it on restaurants now. So you can't say, well, I'm only cooking food. We also conduct on restaurants now. Retail outlets ensure compliance with food safety standard and identify potential hazards. Still on food safety. The second overview. Investigation of violation. How is this done? In case of foodborne illness, outbreaks, or contamination incidents, law enforcement investigates the root cause, identifies responsible parties, and take appropriate what? Legal action. How many of you remember my Peking? Does anybody remember my Peking? My Peking? Okay. My Peking, it's a drug used for what? To suit the child, especially when the child is coughing or teething. They use it for the child. I'm not going to go to details of the scientific work, but I'm just going to tell you, suffice to know, but my Peking kills almost about 1,000 children. Why? Because it contains what is not supposed to be part of the ingredients. Because the company was trying to save cost. Instead of them to go for the proper, they went for the extra. And what happened? Children started dying. NAFDAC stood up. Wait and find out what happened. They now realize what happened. What did they do? They took all the My Peking products, all the batches, and all of them that was produced, confiscate. After that, legal action on the people. And by the time they did it, all the production manager, they all sent them, they were prosecuted, they went to jail. Unfortunately, during that process, the managing director died. It was unfortunate, but all glory to God for everything. Because in Chinese, when Melanin was killing children, what did they do to the minister? They chopped off his head. That why will you allow this to happen? So we go find the root cause, identify responsible parties, and take what? Appropriate legal actions. The bullet under it. Response to complaints and incidents. In case of foodborne illness outbreaks, contamination incidents, or consumer complaint related to food safety, yes, we investigate the incident, identify the root cause as said earlier. Criminal prosecution. there are laws, we call it regulation, governing every food, every drug. Once there is a violation, you will face the tune of the law. So they pursue criminal charges against individuals. Internationally, we do this too. We call them Interpol. And I say, what is the meaning of Interpol? Many people will say international police. You're not far from the right reason, but it's actually international criminal police organization. They are criminal police. Internationally, they go on cyber, they go on the internet and attack those who are doing what? Faking drugs and scamming products. Still on food regulation, number 3. Collaboration and partnership. Coordination with regulatory agency, partnership with industry stakeholders. Number 4, public awareness and what? Education. In NAFDAC, we have what we call the NAFDAC safety club. In that NAFDAC safety club, we've used people in secondary school, primary school to be ambassadors. You know, when they see anything in pharmacy, they report. You know, they have an association. There's a mainstream where they report. We make them to do quiz competition, give them award, so that enables them. At times you bring a drug, your child will say, "Mommy, this drug does not have what? A NAFDAC number." That is the sensitization. Training and capacity building. Providing training sources and technical assistance to both local food businesses and industry professionals. Next slide, please. Number 5. Okay, NAFDAC plays a pivotal role in protecting public health, ensuring food safety, and promoting consumer confidence in Nigeria. Though its proactive efforts, vigilance, and a collaboration with stakeholders, NAFDAC contributes to creating a safe, transparent, and trustworthy food supply chain that benefits the consumer, businesses, and the Nigerian economy. As it is, that puts an end to the food safety, the role of law on food safety. Now we're going to talk on the role of law on what? On nutrition. The role of law enforcement in nutrition primarily focus on regulating and monitoring food labeling, advertising, product claims to ensure accuracy, transparency, and consumer protection. Additionally, they combat fraud related to dietary supplements, functional foods, and other health products. Number 1, let's talk about labeling and advertising oversight. When you bring a product to register, we have a labeling division that check your labels and make sure everything is according to what? International best practices. The contents, the ingredients you have written, they will note it. The moment we collect your product during the center, this is how it happens. When you want to register for a product, you bring in your documentation, and after your documentation, we organize for inspection. When we go for your inspection, if it's satisfactory, we take your samples and take it to the lab. If it's not satisfactory, we'll give you what? A CD. CD means compliance directive. That means there will be a follow-up inspection. But if it's okay, we'll take it to the lab. You see, every content of what you have written, vitamin A, 90%, 50%, 20%, everything you have claimed will be ascertained. Once it does not follow what you have written, there's a difference between NAFDAC speculation and NAFDAC specification and what you have written. Pure water doesn't have to be 60 cl. Pure water is what? 50 cl. If you have decided to make your pure water 60 cl, when they measure it and it's not 60 cl, you have failed though. We didn't ask you to make it to 60 cl. We asked said what? 50 cl. So if you are claiming 60 cl and it's not up to 60 cl, you have failed laboratory. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? So your labeling, your content, very, very key. One of the bullets says, enforcement of labeling requirement. We oversee accuracy and compliance of food and dietary supplement labeling to ensure that manufacturers provide truthful and clear information on what they have said. Next slide, please. Still on nutrition. Regulation of health claims and marketing practices. They monitor and regulate advertising claims. Some people will say, best in the universe. Who made you best in the universe? Is it the product analysis that made you best in the universe? So such claims will not be acceptable. And your promotional materials. Some will say, if you take 1 carton, I won't mention a soft drink, I will just say soft drink. Some people will say, if you see 50 crown of a soft drink, then we will give you 100,000 naira. And what will happen? Nigerians will start buying crates upon crates of soft drink because they are looking for what? 50 crown. And diabetes will just flow in the country. Just because somebody is looking for 100,000, and by the time you acquire diabetes due to excess of sugar in your bloodstream, the 100,000 cannot combat the diabetes. So such thing will accept, because you cannot make Nigerians to what? To fall sick just because you want to sell your product. Accuracy and compliance. We review and approve the use of nutrition and health claims, fortification levels. Yes, many of us know that food vehicles, they are vegetable oil, sugar, what else again? I'm talking to students here. I'm a student too. Food fortification, we have food vehicles, we have sugar, we have vegetable oil, we have what? Salt, we have, sorry? Exactly. And we know for oil is what? 20,000. For butter is between what? 30 to 33,000 IU. Okay? Now, if you have such claim and we analyze and feel that your vitamin A fortification is not up to that. Are you getting me? Are you seeing where law enforcement is coming in now? Otherwise, people will not know what you are selling. Some people brought salt from Banda. And when they brought the salt from Banda, we were like, let's analyze the salt. We found out that the salt was not what? Fortified. They are not saying that they don't fortify salt in their country. I said, sorry, our regulation in Nigeria says all our table salt must be fortified with what? With what? Iodine. Thank you very much. God bless you for that. So number 3, consumer protection, education, and outreach. Like I told you, we have a club that we enable them to know their right from their left. They will be educated. They will be sensitized. You understand? So they collaborate with public health agencies and non-profit organizations to educate the public about healthy eating habits. Healthy eating habits. Somebody will say, I don't want to take carbohydrate again. I will just be taking beans. What's inside beans? Praise the Lord. Oh, sorry. Awareness and outreach. Law enforcement agencies work with public health organizations, advocacy group, and educational institutes to raise what? Awareness about nutrition. Consumer complaint handling. We don't play with consumer complaint at all. The moment there is a consumer complaint, we take action immediately. That's why we encourage manufacturer. You should put batch number on your what? On your product. Because if, okay, let me give you this in a scenario of Indomie. Somebody came and claimed, Indomie is killing people low, it's killing people low. Okay, they said which batch? We went to get the batch. That was during the period of late Aquili. We went to get the batch and felt that, okay, they say it's this batch that is killing people. So we review all the batch all over the country. We mopped it out and took it to the lab randomly. You know what I mean by randomly? We took it to the lab randomly and analyzed and realized this thing is not killing anybody. There is nothing inside this product that is killing anybody. That was why she came on air and she asked them to cook that batch for her and she ate it online. But if the company does not have a batch number, how can we trace, you understand, the infected batch? So even if there is a problem, it will only be the batch that will be destroyed. But if there is not a batch number, then all the products in your lab, all the all over the nation, they will be destroyed. Because no batch number. Next slide, please. Okay. Number 4, collaboration and partnership. Industry, we talk about interagency cooperation, then industry engagement. Then enforcement and compliance. That's monitoring and surveillance. NAFDAC conducts monitoring, surveillance, and inspection activities to assess compliance with nutrition standards, fortification requirement, labeling regulation, advertising restriction, and other nutrition. Many of you may not know, but I know those in the academia field will know that there is no advertisement for BMS. It's not allowed. You understand? So by the time you don't approach us, you will not know that advertisement of BMS is not what? It's not allowed. For those who don't know, PMS is what? Breast milk substitutes. So we now talk on legal actions and sanctions. NAFDAC enforces compliance with nutrition-related regulation, imposes sanction, penalty, fines, and other enforcement measures. This is to protect consumer health and ensure fair, transparent, and trustworthy marketplace for food, dietary supplements, and health products by enforcing regulations, combating fraud, educating the public, and fostering collaboration between what? Regulatory agencies and industry stakeholders. They play a pivotal role in nutrition in Nigeria by regulating dietary supplements and health products. Next slide, please. That's with nutrition. We're now on the final lap of what? Economic development. Role of law enforcement on economic development. If the law enforcement in this country, they do their work very, very well, you will find that the economy of Nigeria will grow irrespective of what is going on. Everybody is feeling the biting heart of the economy. But if the law enforcement do their work very well, there will be an increase. In what? In the economy. So the role of a law enforcement in the economy is multifaceted, encompassing various responsibilities that contributes to fostering a safe, fair, and conducive business environment. They play a crucial role in promoting economic growth, protecting consumers and businesses, combating crime and corruption, and ensuring compliance with laws and regulations. Let's see the overview. Number 1, consumer and business protection. They combat fraud and financial crimes. They investigate and prosecute individuals or organizations involved in fraudulent activities. financial crimes, scams. Like the company I told you, they were using chalk to make paracetamol. And they didn't write their own name. Oh. They wrote the name of a popular paracetamol, printed their paper. They used their NAFDAC number. So, unfortunately for that company, they were the one we arrested. Until we now asked them to stop producing for 3 months. So they stopped production. They stopped production. That paracetamol still flooded the markets. So we now started wondering what is happening. So we started tracing. And we got them. They were in 17 states of Nigeria producing this paracetamol. God help us. And they were using registered labels to unsuspecting. I say, my back is paining me, but I've used paracetamol. It's not working, Joe. It cannot work. You are using calcium carbonate, chalk, not paracetamol. Let God help us. Enforcing fair trade practice. When there is when there is any related competition, they make sure that they check the consumer protection, the advertising standard, their business ethics. Still on economic development. Number 3, we talk of intellectual property rights and protection. Combating intellectual property theft. You give a company power of attorney, import my drug from China, bring it to Nigeria. Company comes to Nigeria, register the trademark in their own name, start distributing the drugs in their name. Company goes to Dubai, start producing some drug in the name of the company registered by NAFDAC. You start taking fake adulterated drugs in the name of registered drug. I don't know whether I'm making sense here. So if there is no law enforcement clamping on this thing, what will happen? If I ask some of our pregnant sisters now, there is this drug they take, Sunday medicine. Go to the chemist, you will see it there is there. Sunday medicine. But Glasgow that is doing Sunday medicine, they are into partnership with Smithline. And they are no longer doing Sunday medicine for the past 10 years. But in the chemist, in the pharmacy, they see what? Sunday medicine. And there has been alerts. Many of us, we don't have reading culture. Now that has said it we used to do a program on the TV, but people, as long as it is not Z word, it is not a Fantastic Four, it is not Spider-Man, we don't watch TV. DSTV has taken over, Go TV. Intellectual messages on TV, we are not involved again. So now that protect consumer from counterfeit, substandard, adulterated, misbranded, and unsafe product by conducting inspections, monitoring, surveillance, quality control activities to detect and seize or remove non-complaint product from the market. Collaboration and partnership is the fourth one. Public and private partnership with governmental and non-governmental agency. Collaboration always fosters synergy between academia, research institute, scientific organization, etc. Next slide, please. The second bullet in that number, international cooperation too, that's collaboration. Domestic collaboration, they are all collaboration. Okay, number 5, we have community engagement and crime prevention. We engage with communities, businesses, and neighborhood associations through community policing initiatives, public awareness, and campaign. Next slide, please. Crime prevention and security. Law enforcement plays a vital role in supporting economic development by protecting consumers and businesses, enforcing regulations, combating crime and corruption. NAFDA plays a pivotal role in the economic development in Nigeria by protecting its consumer, ensuring product quality and safety. So what is the way forward? The role of law enforcement in ensuring food safety, promoting good nutrition, and supporting economic development is multifaceted and crucial for public health and well-being. Here is the potential way forward. There is need to strengthen the regulatory framework. Education and awareness campaign is necessary. Then we have capacity building. Technology integration, number 4. Collaboration approach. We have incentive programs to encourage food producers and retailers. Research and development. Allocate resources for research and development, like what the young lady came to do the other time. Global cooperation. Recognize that food safety and nutrition, they are global issues that require international cooperation. What's our recommendation? Here are some targeted recommendations for the role of law enforcement in addressing food safety, nutrition, and economic development. I recommend specialized food safety units, task forces, and interagency collaboration, enforcement of food safety laws, combating food fraud. Food fraud is on the increase. Promotion of nutritional standard. Once they see a product is fast moving, food fraud. Or you think you produce your pure water and your bottled water and you registered with NIFST, your printer is selling your label and your packaging material to another person. And all they do is pure ordinary water from the well and package it in your name. Community engagement and education. Economic development initiatives. These recommendations, they highly highlight the importance of a proactive and collaborative approach to address the complex challenges related to food safety, nutrition, and economic development by prioritizing enforcement, collaboration, education, economic empowerment. Law enforcement can help create a safer, healthier, and more prosperous communities. Conclusion. The role of law enforcement is ensuring food safety, promoting good nutrition, and supporting economic development. Firstly, it's crucial in enforcing food safety laws and regulations. Secondly, its enforcement efforts extend to combating food fraud, including mislabeling, adulteration, and counterfeiting of food products. Thirdly, they collaborate with various stakeholders, including regulatory agencies, public health department, industry partners, and community organizations. Still on conclusion, we raise awareness by the importance of nutrition and supporting initiatives to improve access to nutritious food. Law enforcement contributes to reducing malnutrition and promoting public health. Finally, law enforcement supports economic development by facilitating market access for small-scale producers, promoting entrepreneurship in food sector. This role in addressing food safety and nutrition and economic development is multifaceted, and it is indispensable by prioritizing enforcement, collaboration, education, and enforcement. And law enforcement agency can meaningfully contribute to building safer, healthier, and more prosperous community. There is one that I will need 50 minutes of your time to talk about. Thank you.
Please, a round of applause for Dr. Tinola Akinobi for this presentation. Thank you very much, madam. I know she has really done justice to it with so much passion in her. The program allows us to ask questions. So we'll just take one question per section of the hall. While she's taking her water, I want to please crave the indulgence of those of us sitting at the back to move forward. Those at the back, please move forward. Our pictures are not looking too well. And for those online, the hall is looking scattered. So please, let's move forward and fill all the seats in front so that we can all be together. So I will take a question from that row, that section, the mid section, and then the students also will take a question. So I would like to start with the students. Any question? Please step forward. Step forward. Anybody from here? Please step forward. Madam, please come. Prof, you can't be now. Please come forward, come forward. You please tell us your name, your institution of affiliation, and then your question.
Good day, everyone. Thank you, Ma, for the lecture. My name is Kabira Adetoyinbo. I'm a student of Radio Character University of Technology now. My question is that, as a NAFDAC, like, what are the procedure or what's like those imported drugs that they are importing to Nigerian? I don't usually see NAFDAC number on them. And they usually said, when I asked them that, okay, NAFDAC number is not here, they always say, imported drugs don't have NAFDAC. And how are we going to know the drugs that is registered, maybe for abroad, this to the one that is fake, ma? Thank you, ma.
Thank you very much for that question. How do we know which one is approved by NAFDAC, which one is not, since they were all brought from overseas?
Yeah. Good afternoon, all members of this conference. My name is Babatunde Olawoye from Post Technical University. I'd like to ask. My name is Babatunde Olawoye from First Technical University in Ibadan. I'd like to ask a few questions. Recently, a social media doctor said that if you want to invest in a business that will give you high rate of return of investment, that you should invest in Nigeria. There is high rampant of kidney failure as we are in Nigeria. And then last year, the Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Mrs. Mugisola Adeyeye, banned the sales of sachet ABA products, ABA alcohol. Banned the sales, the sachet and the one below 250 ml. And we discovered that this ABA product, they have fraudulent advertisement. They will tell you one will cure dialysis, one will cure kidney, one will cure so many things. And this thing, till this present moment, if you go to the Basira at the junction, you still find the sachet alcohol there. What is NAFDAC doing to make sure that those law or those order given by the Director General is being effected? Then the second question is this. You make mention that one of the functions of NAFDAC is advertisement. Through advertisement. And I discovered that recently most of the food we consume, they commit some crime, which is food labeling or misbranding. And I was wondering, this product has, I don't want to mention the product, they have NAFDAC registration number. And I was wondering, during the registration of the product, did NAFDAC really check the label to know that this thing is food fraud? Thank you.
The first question is on alcoholic beverage that is herbal in sachet. that the DG has asked that this should stop, but we still see it around. The second one is regards to regulating adverts. Yet there are still some committing food fraud and all that. What is NAFDAC doing about it?
Thank you very much, Ma, for the insightful teaching. I'm Dr. Mary Adeshola from Lautech. My question is on unlabeled food items that are sold in the markets. If you go to Wazo markets, I reside in Ogbomoso here, you will discover that a lot of food vendors there, especially, well, let me not say a particular one, but those that sell grains like beans and some other items, you discover that a lot of them preserve their food items with some insecticides like DD-Force, Sniper, and all sorts. In fact, somebody told me that even yam flour, elubo, is preserved with DD-Force. I want to find out what is NAFDAC doing to help us out. Because, of course, everybody knows that it is dangerous to feed on Sniper, to feed on DD-Force. Is there any way out for unlabeled or unpackaged food items that are sold in the market?
Hey. Doc, there's so much food on your table. And I know you can do justice to that. But while you're getting ready, I want to invite to join us on the high table, Dr. Mohammed Lawal Atonda, the Executive Director of NAFDAC, of NIHOT. So please join us on the high table. Please come, sir. A round of applause. We have been waiting for you, sir. Thank you very much. I already placed the microphone by your side there. So take your time. I said the mic is by your side here.
Thank you very much. I'm glad when you asked me a question, makes me to know that at least you are listening. Thank you for your attention. I'll start with the last person. Maybe because she got an applause and she looks like me. So I will start with the last person, the last speaker. You said unlabeled food items, not packaged, not monitored by NAFDAC, right? Okay. That they contain a lot of dangerous. Okay, that's all right. In the beginning, I told you there are three main types of law enforcement agency. We have the local law enforcement agency. I told you. Then we have the state. We have the federal. When I was introducing food safety to you, I told you categorically the function of NAFDAC. NAFDAC is responsible for regulating and controlling the manufacture, importation, exportation, advertisement, distribution, sale, and use of food products. These food items, you see, they are not packaged. NAFDAC is involved with what they call processed food. Many of you know that we now register yam flour in packaging material. You know, you've seen yam flour, you've seen ayola, poundo yam, you've seen it registered with number. But when somebody carries yam to the market, we cannot register it. Of our, what do they call their name now? Sanitary officers. Yeah, the public health officers. That's their work. We cannot go and say, madam, this doya, you get pimples, remove them. No. I don't know whether I'm making sense to you. It's not
It's not, but if you bring that yam and process it and say we should register it, then we will inspect, we will take your product to the lab according to international best practices. It will go for registration. They will confirm what you have done is according to the food regulations specified by NAFDAC before it will be issued number. Beans in a bowl in the market, we don't have jurisdiction. And if you don't have jurisdiction on something, you will have problem by doing it. The next thing you will see us in the papers, they will snap us. NAFDAC is now carrying yam in the market. This should be lack of work. They don't have work to do. Are you getting me now? But if it is a packaged product, you just tell me the number they gave the product, and you will see the justice that will be done to it. That's why we give them number. That's why when you were born, you were given Abiba, you were given Clara, so that we know who has done what, committed the offense. I'll go to number 3. You say advertisement is part of the requirement. I didn't tell you that. I say, if you want to advertise your product, it's not compulsory that you register this water now and you advertise it. Nobody says you should go and advertise it. You are the one looking for markets. The moment you have decided, I want the world to know about my product, then you must come to the advertisement division. I am from Food R&R. That is Food Registration and Regulation. I'm the one in charge of the food regulation. You understand? Then you must come to us. My product has been registered in NAFDAC. See my certificate. I want to advertise. We will not ask you, what do you want to advertise? Oh, I want it in Yoruba. I want it in English. I want it in Hausa. I want it in Igbo. I want it in China. Any language you want. But there must be English language there for anybody to read what you are advertising. Now, when you come for advertisement approval, what is not supposed to be, even in terms of ingredient, they will check your laboratory results. If what is on your lab does not tally with what you are saying, like this one say 100% juice, 100% juice. Who said so? By the time they analyze, they found that your product contained only 10% total juice. And you, when you're advertising, say 100%, so they will step it down. I hope I'm making sense. Please don't tell me to a radio, answer me. Am I making sense? Thank you very much. Now, number 2, sachet alcohol. Left for me, I won't talk about it because it has created a lot of controversy. In fact, they came to the office, stoned the gates, fights. Well, I can tell you, 10 years ago, alcoholic beverage were given moratorium of, first of all, 5 years. Then they increased it to another 5 years to stop producing sachet alcohol. What happened? We give our child 100 naira. When you get to school, buy moimoyo, buy ekpa. As the child is going, his friend will buy Coke. The child will now buy sachet alcohol. They will now mix it in the Coke and carry it to school and start drinking. So when the teacher say, "What is your name?" You say, "Showaleni." Show, okay. Teacher say, "Are you talking to me?" He say, "No." Bye-bye. Why? He's drunk. And at that tender age, not only second primary school, they will be drunk on the assembly hall because of passing Coke from one person
to the other. And because of that reason, we stopped production of alcohol in sachets. We now say all those drivers, they don't have money to buy full bottle of gin. But because there are 200 mils, they can buy that one. And they are the one driving you to Ogbomosho. And you are saying, oh God, let there not be accidents. Show why meaning. There will be accidents. That is drunk. You can't go. And you start bringing the bus. It won't work. Don't give physical things to spirituality. Don't mix spirituality with what? With the physical. So we now said, any alcohol in less bottle than 200 mils is Shashikani. So if a driver wants to buy gin, let him put down his money and buy a full bottle of gin. I'm sure we won't try it. Number one, the final question. Which imported, Abi, that are imported foods, they don't have number. I believe that's the summary. That's not true. You see, there's something we call global listing. You may not know about it. Global listing, we allow you to bring 100 cartons. And it's only for food category. There is no drug. We allow you to bring 100 cartons of 100 different items. You understand? And you must be from one supermarket. That is, maybe your name is A and Z. That A and Z must have about 200 supermarkets, or 100 supermarkets in Nigeria. We now allow A and Z to bring in 100 items or products that are not registered. And when they come, they will allow them to register at least 2. You get what I'm saying? They can only sell it in their own supermarket. They cannot give it to G and C supermarket. They can only sell it as retail in their own supermarket. If we find it, that's why we have post-marketing surveillance. If we find it in another supermarket, we will ban them from importation and they will pay penalty of 10 million naira. So they will restrict themselves to only their own supermarkets. Are you getting me now? It's just to help Nigerians. Are you getting me now? Those are the ones that come in without number. Every other imported food, drug, medical devices must be registered with NAFDAC. If you go to NAFDAC website, http:// of everything. And it's a very challenge. My name is Dr. Tinola Kinubi. You see my number on the slide. You can ask the coordinator. Call me. I will assist. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just to say that we have some participants online. A question came from online asking any plan to control or standardize local products. Local products. That's the question that came online. And the other question is, a company is producing a particular product with NAFDAC number. Then some Nigerians, knowing how well the product is doing, now goes into producing that product with the NAFDAC number approved and penetrating other markets. What can that other company do to bar or work in getting their own markets back? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'll start with number 2. You have a NAFDAC number, and somebody is using your product and your number to produce all over the country. They don't go too far. A man had a production outfit, employed the production manager. He didn't know that the production manager used to lick Smarties every time. is very smart. The production manager met with the printer, gave the printer some money. The printer printed the what do you call it?
The packaging
The
material.
packaging materials. Even with the hologram, you know, the company use hologram so that nobody can infiltrate. Even with the hologram, the printer pressed it on it. And the smart production manager became a billionaire within few months. And everywhere they go, they see their product, but there is no money in the bank account. If their product is everywhere, then there should be money. Production manager, what's happened? Ma, I don't know. We did it. They returned it. No, he produced excess that will be returned, and he is selling his own. You need to be vigilant if you are a producer or manufacturer. If you don't talk, we are not witches and wizards. Who will imagine somebody is using your number? Once you notice that the money is gradually going through economic reduction, the money is now singing the first anthem instead of the second anthem, then you should alert NAFDAC. And your product is everywhere. Even this person I'm talking about, the product is in his wife's shop everywhere. But he don't get the money. Sir, it's the responsibility of everybody. You are a manufacturer. Don't register and go and sleep. You must be vigilant. The people working with you, try, buy enough machine so that you have few people working for you. So that what you have is automatic production. You just have packagers. And those packagers, make sure that they are not university undergraduates. They are very smart. They are looking for money. They are the only one that needs money. Let God help us. Number one, sir.
Yes. Any plan to control or standardize local products?
I will use drug as an example. If you notice, manufactured drugs in Nigeria now is consumed at a high rate. Because there's something now that called ceiling lists. We seal the importation of some drugs that we can produce in the country. Like paracetamol is on that ceiling list. Antibiotic is on that ceiling list. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? There are all these diabetic drugs, glucophage. They are all on that ceiling list. If you see glucophage now, imported, God bless you if you buy it. Because they are on that ceiling list. What did we do? We warned them a few years back that once they renew now, they should begin with their blueprints to start manufacturing that same product in Nigeria with a local representative. After 5 more years, if you do not concur by manufacturing it in Nigeria, then you will be, your product license will be what? Will be revoked until you come to Nigeria and start what? Producing. That is one way we did for drugs, okay? For local food, you could see, we thank God for the rejection. Because if they have not rejected us during export, most people will not come back to Nigeria to do what? To start doing the right thing. Before, legumes are rejected. They don't even want to see it. But now, the storyline has changed. So we are helping during the exportation to explain to them what to do, inspections, analyzing the product and telling them why it has failed. The aflatoxin content, you will tell them so that they will know what to do next. So that's how NAFDAC is helping.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tinola. For those of you who might still want to engage more, I would say that the organizers of this conference will share the presentation with all of us. those who are registered, and then we can get the contacts. And like she said, she runs an open door policy, so you can always have a reach. At this point, I want us to step down. We've been blowing too much grammar since morning. We want to have some cultural touch for us to have some entertainment while we are still settling down. Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody. I like the fact that the theme of this event is Ajilete 2024. But then, who can tell us the origin of Ajilete? What does Ajilete mean? Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́ ọmọ Afọ̀gbọ́jà. I am Abdul Khalid Adewale, a student of Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, and I am here to introduce to you a cultural performance from the Dreams and the Righteous Thespian Society, Lautech. Let's welcome them with a round of applause, please. These are Lautech talents, raw talents. Thank you very much.
Ìbà kọ́dà ayé ìbà ṣẹ̀dá ọ̀run, mọ̀rí alámọ̀ ti mọ̀ yàn. Agbélò làhùn aláhùn àrọ́, àdùgbò bá làhùn aláhùn kò sùn. Bílékèlékè bá làhùn yóò sì kẹ́ fún. Àṣà àti ṣé wa ò gbúdọ̀ parẹ́ o. Ẹ má jẹ́ ká ti torí pápárápáká sọ kùkúnù. Ẹ má jẹ́ àti torí adùn bí adé ká gbàgbé ibi agbọ́rọ̀. Àṣà wa ń lọ, ìṣe wa ń lọ, ẹ̀kọ́ làjú ló sọ gbogbo nǹkan di rọrùn. Àwọn àgbàlagbà ló gbàṣà yẹn dání lórí ẹni, tèmi wọ́n gbé dání ni wọ́n jẹ́ kó di tẹni ẹlẹ́ni. Àwọn àlágbàlagbà tí ń fúyá lóye ẹni, àwọn tó yẹ kí gbàṣà yẹn dání wọ́n kò lórí ẹni wọ́n lọ́sẹ̀ tẹni ẹlẹ́ni. Ẹni ẹlẹ́ni ẹ wá máa kọ́ ni láṣà ẹni, ẹ wá rí gbẹ̀yìn ẹni. Mo ṣe bí wọ́n ní ohun anílànà ní. Èwo lórí tàbí gbàgbọ́ ìṣàwọ̀ láyé òde òní, èyí tó dára là báṣà káyé sojú lọ́rọ̀ àṣà mẹ́ṣà ta. Àwa jáṣà láṣà lò bí mọ́tà, àwa dán máa ṣa tí ò láṣà. Ẹ̀yin àgbàlagbà ilẹ̀ yóò dọwọ́ yín. Ẹ má yẹ káṣà yìí tọwọ́ yín bọ́ bí ẹ̀yin. Ẹ kìlọ̀ fáwọn ọmọ tí ń bọ̀ lẹ́yìn kí wọ́n yé ṣerú pa bí ẹ̀yin kán mọ̀ páṣà alẹ́ bàbá gan ló dùn jù bí oyin.
Ìbà o, ìbà. Mo ṣẹ̀ lọ kí n tó wọlé o. Mo rí bàbá mi aláwùrà. Olódùmarè máa gbọ́ o. Róòdù tó má rè wọ mo ké sí lọ́wọ́. Afọbajẹ tí ìgbádùn ọba lé ogun ọba pátápátá mọ̀rí ọlá ọ̀mọ̀rún ìpín nínú ìkarahun. Olúmọ̀rí ọlá o, Olódùmarè olúmọ̀rí ayé. Ọba mi gbàǹgbà lára, gbàǹgbà yípo padà. Ọ̀pá tìrẹ mọ́lẹ̀ tó kọrún òjò wìnìwìnì tí járe ó bẹ́ èèyàn. Ọba àwọn ọba lúwa olúwa aláyé lọ́run lẹ́ẹ̀kan ṣoṣo. Ṣèdírè kéńké, ṣèdírè. Ṣèdírè kéńké, ìbàdí àrán o, ṣèdírè kéńké, ìbàdí àrán o. Ṣèdírè kéńké. Ṣèdírè kéńké, ṣèdírè ìbàdí àrán o, ìbàdí àrán o. Àwa ni abọ́lódé ṣòde, wọ́n ní abọ́lódé ṣòde òde ire. Àwa ni abọ́lódé ṣòde, àwa ni abọ́lódé ṣòde òde ire. Àrùn owó dé. Ṣé ó lọ èrò kájọ́lá? Ṣé ó lọ àbẹ́kọ̀lọ́ èrò kájọ́lá? Ṣé ó lọ èrò kájọ́lá?
Ìjẹ̀ṣà òṣèré. Ọmọ onílẹ̀ obì, ọmọ ẹlẹ́ni àtẹ ẹ̀ka nínú wẹ̀lẹ̀. Òkékèké. Aṣọ bàbá wọn nílòdè pàjọ ẹ̀gbọ̀rọ̀ kan tí ẹ̀mí àwọ̀ òde Ìjẹ̀ṣà. Èyíkéyìí tó bá rí lẹ́jàgàrà fún wa kí n ro oúnjẹ ṣàgùdù. Iwájú olóye èwo ni ẹnìkan ẹ̀dẹ̀wájú olóye dàgbà Ìjẹ̀ṣà. Elébùté yín, ọ̀wù yìí níbà òkun, àkàrà gbùrùgbà, ọ̀wù yìí níjẹ̀ṣà, ìgbẹ́kẹ̀rẹ́ àdúndù tán, ọ̀wù yìí níbọ̀ dá mọ́kànlá o. Mú wọn lè dàgbà Ìjẹ̀ṣà kí wọ́n má lórí ìtọ́gbọ́. Wọ́n bá ti kí bàbá yín tó rí fún ni lóbi ìtọ́gbọ́ kákàká. Ìyẹn máa Ìjẹ̀ṣà òṣèré o. Wọ́n bá ti kí bàbá yín tó fi yọgi náà ti ní. Tọ́máwù láwùn Ìjẹ̀ṣà, ọmọ olóbì ìṣe èdè Ìjẹ̀ṣà òṣèré, ọmọ olóbì ìṣe ẹ̀fà. Ọmọ òbí kan èyí tí ń bẹ lọ́pọ̀pọ̀ ilé o. Tó bá mójú sófin, a máa yìn sọpa, afọ́rin gbogbo sáré fún. Bàbá yẹn fún ni lóbi ìtọ́gbọ́ kákàká o. Ṣùgbọ́n èèyàn bá sọ pé Ìjẹ̀ṣà orí ìsáná ilé lọ́rọ̀ wá ti múná rogo. Bàbá yẹn wọ́n yọ̀gì náà tó lù ààrẹ.
Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́ Ajilete. Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́ máa fọ òpójà bí èṣù ọ̀dàrà. Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́ Ajilete. Ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Ọlátúndé kì mọ̀ mọ̀ bínú pé mo bọ́ ọ lóye mo pè ọ́ lóko ó kọlá fífọ́ baládé. Òkì láti fi kélédùn mọ́rẹ̀ ọba mo fẹ́ bọ́ délé ọba bá tó bí ọlọ́mọ. Ìwọ lọ́mọ Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́ Ajilete. Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́ afọ ògbójà bí èṣù ọ̀dàrà. Ibi wọn ti gbé jẹka àtọ́kọ́ tó mú kọyọgán lé bàbá tó bí yín lọ́mọ. Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́. Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́ ìlú Ògúnlọ́lá. Eré ló ṣe bí jagunjagun gbọ́ débọ̀ ṣe ni. Má bá ń jà àwọn olówó ẹbọ. Má bá ń jà àwọn olówó ètùtù. Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́. A ò lè kí Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́ ká mọ́ kí Ìkòyí ilé. Ìkòyí ẹ̀sọ́ ọmọ agbọ̀n ọyùn. Ọmọ akọ́rọ́gùnjọ́. Oníkòyí òbí ojoojúmọ́ bí ogun ìgbà gbogbo kìkì ogun. Ọmọ ogun tó tà sí oje ìwé alógun kúlé bàbá tó bí yín lọ́mọ. Ìkòyí burú ẹ̀sọ́ òdélé pé. Ìkòyí burú ẹ̀sọ́ pera wọn lórúkọ Ìkòyí ẹrú fìsọ̀fìsọ̀. Ọmọ ojoojúmọ́ nímúlé bàbá wọn sún mi lọ ìjà àjàwẹ̀yìn wò. Nímúlé Oníkòyí ẹ̀sọ́ ohun mi. Ìkòyí ẹ̀sọ́ jagun títí. Odò òkun fọ́fọ́ níwájú wọn. Ó ní kàkà kóhun bó mi lọ owó ìyàbò kún bó mi lọ lé bàbá tó bí ọlọ́mọ. Ọmọ gbọ̀n yìí, ọmọ gbọ̀ngbọ̀n tó sọ Oníkòyí lẹ́yìn ọrùn. Kò jẹ́ kẹ́sì Oníkòyí ó jókòó, kò jẹ́ kẹ́sì Oníkòyí ó jọ̀nà. Ọmọ láàrin Oníkòyí ẹ̀sọ́ tó kún jọ sí. Wọ́n gbé bàbá, wọ́n dàrin yàrá, wọ́n gbẹ̀lẹ̀ nkoto ikoto, wọ́n gbẹ̀lẹ̀ nkoto ikoto. Bàbá lòun oṣù síbẹ̀ ń, wọ́n wá gbé ó dínú gbóréré. Wọ́n gbẹ̀lẹ̀ nkoto ikoto, wọ́n gbẹ̀lẹ̀ nkoto ikoto. Bàbá lòun òde bí òun mọ̀ gbé lọ sí wọ́n pé Ìkòyí àsọ gbódìlé ọmọ sọ gbẹdì ìgboro àṣà àtọ́lọ́jà. Ìkòyí ọ̀rọ̀gùn jà ó kára àwọn àjùlẹ̀rù Ìkòyí ẹrú fìsọ̀fìsọ̀.
Ìbàdàn nílé Olúyọ̀lé o. níbi ò lè pẹ́ tí ń jàre olóhùn ìlú Òjó ìlú Àjàyí ìlú Ìbíkúnlẹ̀ ológbò odò kẹrin lójú ogun mo báyìí lọ́mọ òwò kẹ̀ǹbẹ̀rẹ̀ bí ìjà ìbàràkúrẹ́ ìbànàbẹ̀rẹ̀ kí ó tó wò ó ẹlẹ́yẹlé o ẹlẹ́yẹlé o ẹlẹ́yẹlé lomi tẹrú tọmọláyé kò mú àṣejìrẹ́ lomi àbùmùbùwẹ̀ nílẹ̀ Ìbàdàn nílé Olúyọ̀lé a kì í wáyé ká mọ́ lárùn kankan lára ìjà gbòòrò lárùn Ìbàdàn ọmọ dọ́gbọ́n ké ni wọ́n ọmọ dọ́gbọ́n ké ni wọ́n o ẹ̀sìn ògbólógbòjò ló lẹ́yìn dọ́gbọ́n yọ̀kẹ́ para tó dìtà náà òní yóò tó àná yóò tó ọ̀la yóò tó iwájú yéégún ẹ̀yìn yéégún ọ̀tún yéégún òsì yéégún amẹ́gún o ilé ọmọ ológbòdò ló lẹ́yìn eégún di mẹ́fà ló pín ilé o kí ni sẹ́tọ́bìnrin ò máa wo bàtà ló di mẹ́fà nígbàlẹ̀ èmi ní sẹ́tọ́bìnrin ò máa wo ẹ̀wù di méjì mo lò ó gbogbogbò mo lò ó gbogbogbò ẹ̀wọ̀n sọ kúkú bọ́ ti lu kára bí ajẹrẹ tí wọ́n bá sọ pé bàdà tí ó gbójúlówó ẹ̀wù fún wọn pé bàbá tí wọ́n bàbá tí wọ́n láyé lójú ogun.
Ìjẹ̀bú ọmọ adùn mọ́dẹ́sẹ́ ọmọ adùn mọ́sù pẹ́díyẹ jẹ́ Ìjẹ̀bú ọmọdé òkòkò mọ̀nìgà tí ń bára ẹbí awú kẹ̀ǹgbẹ̀kẹ̀ǹgbẹ̀ ará olókun ará òradì ẹnu kì í lé ọ bàbá tó bí yín lọ́mọ ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ ẹlẹ́kùnlé àdáwòrè ọmọ òṣèṣe ní òyọ̀ǹyọ̀ òyìnbọ̀mọ́yọ̀ mi torí tí ń ṣe mí ò lè pa mí iṣu mẹ́fà ní iṣu Ìjẹ̀bú èjì ń jíjẹ èjì ń ta ìjẹ́ olórìṣà tí bàbá wọn fi méjì tó kú bọ nínú kan fi bò sàlùkù àbí kan fi bò tàtàkọ̀tà bọ alágẹmọ gbogbo Ìjẹ̀bú tí mo mọ̀ pátápátá ọlọ́wọ́ ni wọ́n ṣe kékeré Ìjẹ̀bú ìdúró Ìjẹ̀bú owó ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ Ìjẹ̀bú owó ìlọ́ṣọ̀ Ìjẹ̀bú owó tó bá wá wù Ìjẹ̀bú àwọn ẹni tiẹ̀ ní wíníwíní mo ní tó bá wá wù Ìjẹ̀bú àwọn ẹni tiẹ̀ ní wíníwíní Ìjẹ̀bú ọmọdún mọ́dé Oǹdó èkí mògún ọmọ arẹ́yìn jájá ṣe bẹ́yìn lọ́mọ ajájá torítorí bẹ́ẹ̀ bá wá kọ́ tẹ̀bẹ̀yìn ò ní jájá mọ́ ọ̀jàjá ṣe bọ́ lọ́mọ kì í lé ọ bàbá tó bẹ́yìn lọ́mọ rẹ̀ní mògún ni wọ́n kìrọ àwọn bàbá ẹ̀yìn rẹ̀ní mògún ará alágbẹ̀ẹ́dẹ ọmọ awúlẹ̀ ń wọ́wọ́ méje nìrè méje lògún lé ọ bàbá tó bí yín lọ́mọ ògún alára ní jájá ògún onírè ní jàgbò ògún kọ̀lá ní jẹ̀gbín ògún mọ́làmọ́là ní jẹ èkuru funfun ògún wádòwádò ẹja ní jẹ ògún gbẹ́nàgbẹ́nà odògì ní jẹ ògún ògún ọmọ rẹ̀ ìjàjà o.
lágbèrè ọ̀gá máa sọ̀rọ̀ ọmọ aṣáwó kó kójúlé kókókókókó ṣèbèrè mi ìwọ ya lábọ̀ ọmọ akpọ́n lè tẹ́ bí ẹ̀kú rẹ́wẹ́ ọmọ dúró níjà àjọ ọmọ aládùn ọmọ àjọ ọmọ àgbálẹ̀ gbóògùn sà pọ́jọ́ bá kan rí káàdì márùn-ún yìí kúrùn bá rìn dọ̀dọ̀ káàdì márùn-ún di àgbèrè o máa fún ọlẹ́bọ̀tòrò àfijú wọ̀ládá fúnra wọn jẹ́ ìwọ̀n bí wọ́n lọ́ máa rápa mí àrálàmí. Ìfẹ́ o a kì í dúró kí wọ́n nífẹ̀ẹ́ Ọọ̀ni a kì í bẹ̀rẹ̀ kí wọ́n nífẹ̀ẹ́ Òǹtólú kòkàkòbẹ̀rẹ̀ kí wọ́n nífẹ̀ẹ́ Òǹdáyé o bàbá kí wọ́n nífẹ̀ẹ́ ìtabẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹ̀bọ ni wọ́n fi ní ṣe èrò àbúrò máa sùn wáyé kẹyọ abúlé ní mímọ dọ́dọ̀ kan ò tẹ́rẹ́rẹ́ abúlé ní mímọ dọ́dọ̀ kan ò tàrẹ́rẹ́ tó bá sàn wẹ́rẹ́kẹ́ yóò máa sàn wẹ́rẹ́kẹ́ ó dá ìkúlẹ̀ sílẹ̀ ó dà bàtà asákẹ́kẹ́ ojú wọn ò gbúdọ̀ pọ́nmi bẹ́nu àwọn àbàfàjà wọn ò gbúdọ̀ ti sẹ̀ ògèrè onísọ̀bòrò ló máa gbọmí ọdọ náà gbẹ.
Ọlágúndé o mo ní tá a bá parí akọni àní tá a bá parí akọni mo ní tá a bá parí akọni a sì fi dé alẹ́ gàràgà Ọ̀ṣun ṣẹ̀ǹgẹ̀ ṣẹ́ ọlọ́yà yùn àwẹ̀dẹ̀ kó tó wẹ̀ mọ́ rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú gbà lọ mi báre mi bá pẹ̀sà ẹ dákun ẹ má ṣe gbà lọ mi ẹ̀yin lọmọ ẹlẹ́dàá tún mi ẹ̀yà tí ṣekú pẹ́ mọ́ ẹ̀yin lọmọ kẹrẹ̀gbẹ́ sókun ẹmúdẹ rẹ̀ ní ọ bàbá tó bí yín lọ́mọ àwẹ̀dẹ̀ kó tó wẹ̀ mọ́ sẹ́dírẹ̀ kẹ̀kẹ́ sẹ́dírẹ̀ ìbàdí àrán.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I believe we all enjoyed the presentation. But I was wondering in the course of the presentation, they call it cultural, and I was seeing some twe dance there. Well, the people on the high table will not understand the twe, but we understand, Nabi. It is well. On that note, I want to invite to the podium the LOC chair, Professor Victoria Abioye, to please give us a vote of thanks.
Thank you so much. Let me stand on the existing protocol. I want to appreciate God for the success of this summit. Against all odds, we thank God for making it a success. I want to sincerely appreciate the Vice Chancellor in absentia, the person of Professor Haro Rom Kalilu, for his assistance as the chief host of this summit and for the necessary support given to us to make this summit a great success, including the approval of this hall where we are seated. If he has not approved it, we may not have access to it. I want to appreciate all the principal officers. I want to appreciate the chairman, committee of deans, provosts of colleges, deans of faculties, those that supported morally and in all possible ways they can. I want to sincerely appreciate the hosting faculty, the Faculty of Food and Consumer Sciences, LAUTECH. I also want to appreciate our amiable Dean, Professor Iya Akande, all the professors in the faculty, all the academic staff, the administrative staff, and our great students. I would like to thank all the ESCOs of the NIFST Western Chapter, especially my mentor and the chairperson, the person of Professor Bia Kinwande. I want to appreciate all the ESCOs for their understanding, their hands of love. Sometimes they call me and say, we know what you are doing. They say, you are doing a great job. They encourage me. And they always tell me it is well. I should not worry, it's going to be a success. I want to say a big thank you to you all. I want to thank all the LOC members for being there, calling them in the middle of the night. And we can see wonderful things that have happened. It is not only my effort, it has been the contribution of all the LOC members. I do not take this for granted. I want to say thank you so much. I want to appreciate the fellows here. Thank you for your support, the professors. We are professor of professors. We are professors of professors, professor like Professor Howard, Professor Logunde, Professor Otunla. These are our teachers. We want to appreciate them for gracing this occasion. God bless you. And we pray that you will live your life in sound health in Jesus' name. I want to thank the chairman of the conference, Professor Hello Sonny. We were at his office and he hosted us so much. Thank you so much. He came so early yesterday. God bless you, sir. I want to welcome I also want to appreciate the keynote speaker. She only called me and said, Madam, I'm in town. We'll see you tomorrow. And she also supported us personally for this conference. I want to appreciate all the eminent speakers, both locally and across the globe. I want to thank everyone that have made this program a success, all the members of the NIFST NIFST professional bodies. I want to appreciate all the participants, academia, industrialists, and I want to also appreciate great Nigerian students. Please, students, appreciate yourself. Great Nigerian students. I want to appreciate different units in the school, the ICT, the director, his workers. They are all there, the ODL, the school gardener, the works, all different departments, the URP department. These people have been so supportive in one way or the other. I want to say to everybody, you are special, because if you are not here, this may not be as beautiful as this. I want you to everybody to appreciate him or herself. And let me tell your neighbor, you are a special person. You are welcome to Ogbomoso Ajilete. Ogbomoso is a peaceful city where we eat amala and we drink corn pap after. Make sure you don't miss this. We promise to make it comfortable for you. Once again, I want to say thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Professor Abioye, for that wonderful vote of thanks. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, we have gradually come to the end of the formal opening ceremony. We'll be stepping out to have the group photographs. After the group photographs, we have some networking. So the person you have been looking to know and get better with, make sure you reach out to the person. And then we have a short break and then move to the plenary venue. The plenary venue will be the D Hall, the D Hall close by here. That's where we'll be having the plenary session afterwards. So now, please, while we are still seated, we allow the members of the high table for the group photograph. The photographer, please, where do you want the pictures to be? Outside. Okay, please. So please lead them to the venue. So while the members of the LOC and the executive of the Western chapter join for the group photograph so that we can complete that. While the rest of us move to the D-Hall immediately, we are starting the plenary session immediately. Thank you very much for your attention and do have a wonderful day.
This lovely low tech, you've kept the promise. Now we're singing, all dressed in splendor, as your promise again is kept.